What's going on, y'all? We're going to get started in a second. I send this link out, then we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? So as we can see right here, US30, this was last Monday. We caught this entire wave up. We've just been calling buys all week on all the indices. As you see, we've just been calling buys. Every time it got to a new level, we entered again and again and again. Same thing with the NAS100, SPX, and EUSDX as well. So it's a pretty good week indice-wise, and as well currency pairs. So do got to keep in mind that it is Monday. So Monday is going to be a lot less volume than like Wednesday and Thursday and Tuesday. So we're just going to let price do its thing for a little bit to see what direction it wants to go, especially with the indices. We're most likely going to wait till closer to New York session to enter these, just so volume is the most volumes in the market and it's really trying to push the way it wants to go. But I'm still going to be looking for buys for the most part, but we do have to acknowledge that this is a strong level of support resistance here. We have this huge wall of price above here. Then we can see how price is rejecting this level as resistance. We see how price is respecting it as a support level here. Then it dropped down. And then we also see how price on Friday as well as today is respecting this level. Price hasn't broken above that level yet. It's still respecting this level here. And you see it's trying to push up as we speak. So we're going to see what it decides to do later on to see if it can break this next level of price. So that's what we're going to be looking for. I'm just going to put a level here for now. I'll adjust it later. I'm just going to put it here. And we're going to see if price can break above this level and we can enter new buy. But I wouldn't be surprised if price retraces because there's a lot of green candlesticks. Price isn't just going to shoot straight up. Just like if you're in a downtrend, price isn't just going to shoot straight down the whole time. So wouldn't be surprised if it retraces a little bit. So I'm just going to keep an eye out for that. And then we're going to go from there. Give me 1 second. And then that's the same thing with NAS100. So it looks a little bit different on the daily time frame. It's just beginning its uptrend as US30 has been in the uptrend for a little while now. So when we go on the daily time frame, we can see I was in a downtrend here, and ever since it hit this level of price here at 10,693, it has been reversing back up, making new highs, and it's just like US30. So it's not a huge level of traffic here, but it's underneath the strong level of support resistance. And the last two candlesticks yet on Friday and today's candlestick look very similar. So I want to see if price can break above this level by around 11,560 and see how it reacts to that level when it hits there. Still going to be looking for buys for most of these pairs. What's going on, y'all? Y'all hopping in the stream, make sure to hit that like button. There we go. The same thing with GBPJPY, we can see on the smaller time frames. If I go back to US30, how they're looking very similar on the smaller time frames, and we can see that in a second. My bad, y'all, for the screens. When it rains, where I'm at, where it rains, the weather, like the signal, everything gets really bad when it's raining. It's been raining the past couple of days. But whoops, when we go on a smaller time frame, when we go on to 15, we see price looks very similar. Whoops, we'll just put it there. You can see price looks very similar as it does on GBPJPY. Then when we pull up NAS, we'll see the same thing. You see this looks very similar to US30 and GBPJPY. Then SPX has the same candle structure. We caught this buy on Friday, as well as me and the members caught the US30 buy on Friday. The SPX one I called on the free Telegram. But literally all the indices did the same thing on Friday. So we could have entered all of these if we wanted to. It's just another thing with correlating pairs. If you know pairs that move together and you understand how to read candlesticks, you'll be able to catch a lot more pips than normally. But again, it did do a huge pump last week, so retracements might happen a little bit today and this week. So just going to let the charts do its thing for the most part. Going to be looking at currency pairs during London session, see if we can find anything. But I already was scanning the charts, and there isn't really much that I like where price is at. So I'm just going to really let price do its thing for this morning. Still going to be streaming for a little bit to see if we can catch anything this first hour. But wouldn't be surprised if we don't, because price has done a lot of retracing. Like when we were doing the Zoom meeting with the members last night, price was up here for your JPY. That things retraced all the way back down here underneath the 4-hour level of support resistance. So just going to see your price going to retrace a little bit down more. And then if it does, then might look for a buy at that level of price, or depending on what it does, might be looking for sales, because when we go on the daily time frame, we can see that Euro JPY has been pushing up for a while. When we zoom out, we can see it's been pushing up for a while. Really been pumping since the middle of October. But since it's hit this level of price here at 146.67, 146.70, it's really been struggling to make new highs. As we can see here, and we see today's candlestick, huge rejection with pushing down. So it could turn to a red candlestick. It could pop back underneath this zone. So just going to see what it decides to do. Just going to be watching and see what it decides to do. Because again, it is Monday, and even if it wasn't Monday, like any other day, you don't want to just jump into trades. You want to wait for multiple candlesticks to show you what price is trying to do. So we caught a buy on Euro New Zealand last week on Friday. But even look at the 4-hour time frame. Since it's hit this level, it's rejected it multiple times. And since the last time it's hit this level, it's just been shooting back down, and it's already back down 2 zones. So depending on what the next candlesticks look like, we could see a downtrend beginning, because again, we go on the daily time frame, we see a nice staircase up, and we see that staircase came to a halt when it hit this lower price here at 74.95. Ever since it's 74.95, it hasn't hit it since, and it's just been dropping down. So we might see the beginning of a downtrend. So a price can break underneath 70.30, depending on what the next candlesticks look like when it's underneath 70.30, this level of price right here. Then we might be looking for sales. So for right now, I'm just going to be watching to see what it decides to do. If it can respect this level as a support level, or it's going to break underneath it and turn that support level into a resistance level. So that's really what I'm really going to be looking for. So again, like I said, today is going to be one of those Mondays. A lot of moves are in the middle of retracing, or in the middle of already doing what they did. So it's not really any good entries I can see right now. So I'm just going to be waiting for price to come to my ideal entries, and then also see what price is trying to do for the day and the week. So for now, I'm just going to be leaving this alone as well. I'm just going to be watching it, seeing how it reacts when it hits this blue line right here, this level of price, or see if it does hit it at all, because it could also not hit it. But I'm just going to see what it decides to do. So we got about 8 minutes until when the session starts. Euro AED looking kind of similar to Euro New Zealand. You see a nice staircase up, pushing price up. And ever since it hit this lower price, it hasn't made any new highs. It has really been rejecting that level. Still been respecting this level as a support level. So I want to see if it can continue to do so, or same thing. If it breaks underneath this level, then I will see if we might be seeing a downtrend begin. But as of now, for today, it has been respecting this level. We see this rejection with pushing up, showing that it's still supported, it's still respecting that level. So we're going to see if it can continue to do so. And if it can, then we might look for a potential buy setup. But again, I'm not going to be jumping into anything too soon or too early. Just going to be watching the charts, taking a deeper look. Price did shoot all the way down and hit this wall right here. So we do have to acknowledge that. And then when it hit this level of price, after that level of price, the next candlestick stayed there for a whole another 15 minutes, pushed up, came back down. Then the candlestick after that exploded back up. So we do have to acknowledge that. So I'm going to keep an eye on this still, see what the next couple of candlesticks look like. But that is a good sign for a potential buy setup. So let me just keep an eye on that. What is that, Euro AUD? Yeah, so I'm going to go back to Euro AUD, the next 5-minute candlestick, and then when London session starts to see what that's up to. Euro CAD, I'm going to leave this alone for now because it's the 4-hour zone. You can see it's a clear, strong support resistance level here. So when price touched it, as soon as price touched it, rejected back up, and it's pushing up. So I'm not going to really do nothing until it hits the daily zone and see how it reacts to the daily zone. So again, just another pair that's in the middle of doing something or just ranging or retracing. So I'm not going to really be messing with that. You can clearly see this the 15-minute time frame. US30 has just been chilling here all night. Again, waiting for volume to pump up, and then also for the New York session to start. Do have a gap here that we need to acknowledge. So I want to see price later on today potentially come back up, retrace and fill this gap up, and then see if it can stay on top of this level of price at 32,920. And if it can do so, then we can possibly look for a buy setup. And that's if it can continue to do so. So that's what we're going to be looking for there for US30. And there's similar stuff with NAS, then, SPX, GBPJPY, and then EUSDX. They all have this at the top of the daily zone. They all have a gap, except this one's not the daily zone. This one's the 4-hour zone. All has a gap. I want to see that gap get filled up. So I want to see that happen later on today, this morning. Because if it could just even go to the gap, that's still a good amount of pips and a good quick scalp. So we'll just go from there. Your AD still pushing. Hit this wall here. So I want to see if it's going to continue to break past this wall or if it's going to come back down for a retest. So it's going to keep an eye on that. GJ, very similar to Euro JPY. On the strong level of support resistance on the 4-hour time frame, it is pushing back up though, which is a good sign. But it's not really anywhere that I want to enter a buy at. I want to see it come back up to 171.80 and see if it can stay above that. But same thing, as you can see, for a very long time, really since this huge rejection with this one day towards the end of September, price has just been making new highs and pushing up. As we can see here, price has just been making new highs and pushing up. So I'm still going to be looking for buys. Just going to let price do its thing, and then also see how it looks during the New York session. So I probably won't be entering a lot of trades until New York session, honestly. But I still want to see what this hour looks like, see if we can catch anything. GBP New Zealand is respecting this level as a support level for the time being, which is a good sign. So we could possibly look for a quick buy setup here. To see if it can come up to 99.90 or 99.85. I can't see that happening. I want to see it respect this level and then break above this level here. I'm about to mark off. Let's say this level right here. So I want to see if the price can break above this level and stay above, because as you can see, the past hour price has failed to do so. It's respecting this daily zone, which is a good sign, but you can see price has failed to break and stay above that level. So if price can break and stay above that level, then I can see price continue to push up. and we can catch some pips potentially. I can see price come up to here minimum. Now, how price will react to here, most likely going to reject. Could push back up going into New York session, but I do see price at least hitting up to here to here before that rejection happens. Now, as far as SL, probably gonna put SL right underneath this lower price right here. I could probably do a tighter SL. I just want to give price a little bit of wiggle room to do its thing. So it's gonna be like nice 1 or 2 risk to reward. And we got 2 minutes until London session starts. So I'm gonna see what that looks like, what the next candlestick looks like. We're gonna go back to your AUD. Let's see what your AUD is up to. Your AUD is still pumping. So I'm gonna see if we can retrace some. So I might be looking for a GBP New Zealand buy, depending on what the next candlesticks look like. GA, caught a few buys on that. Looks like today price finally broke through that level. It was struggling to break through all week. All week last week, that is. We called buys a couple times. As you can see, this orange line right here, strong support resistance level. And you can see price really struggled to break this level day after day after day. And it finally exploded through it. Looks like, well, it did on Friday. So very interesting. I want to see if we can come back to this daily zone. Because we see as soon as price tapped the daily zone, it rejected back down. So that's going to be my next buy target around 81.25, 81.30 for GBP AUD, that is. All right, it's 3 a.m. Do like how this is looking. I want to check out some other currency pairs too, but I'm going to take a mental note of this. So if I do enter this, SL I'm looking at is about at, let's see, 98.60. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, so it's pushing above here, which is a good sign. So I can't see price come up to here. Do like how that's looking. So from where it's at, it's about a little bit under, a little bit 50 plus stop loss, but I do like how this is looking. Yeah, so I entered this one. I did enter this. I want to see it come up to here, minimum, which from where price is currently at, it's about 30 pips, which isn't bad. So I want to see it come to here minimum, and then if it can break above here, then I want to see it come up to here at 2.0000. So I did enter this SL, like I said. I'm looking at 98.60. If you don't see what I see, of course, you don't have to enter. But I did personally enter this because I do like how it is looking. So I'm going to try to calculate the TPs and stuff right now. So let's see price. I'm up to. So let's see price come up to here. Then let's see if price can come up to here. 5. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, so I'm going to post the TPs and stuff in the free Telegram in a second. I'm just going to check out some other pairs. Yeah, so this one is pushing still, so we're going to leave your AD alone. We're going to leave that alone. Let's see what these other pairs are up to. All right, 80 JPY is retracing down too. So we'll let that do its thing. 80 New Zealand's dropping. 80 CAD, gonna leave that alone. Yeah, so I don't like where anything else is at. So we're just gonna see how this one does. But this thing did just drop after hit this wall. So we're gonna see if it can stay on top of this level. New 5-minute did just start. Still got time until the next 15, which is more important than the 5. The 5 is still important to acknowledge, but it did break above this level, hit this wall. So I want to see if it can stay above that level. We're going to see if it can do so. But this is the only pair that I'm in currently. I don't like where anything else is at. So I'm going to see how this does. And then while we're watching that, we're going to look at the other pairs still to see how they're reacting. But the JPY pairs are still pushing down. So still going to let them do their thing. Like I said, I'm still mainly going to be looking for buys for the JPY pairs because they have been pumping up the past few weeks. But we do see that it's been struggling right here. So if it does break past this daily zone, and depending on what the next couple candles look like, we could potentially look for sales. But for the most part, I'm just going to let it do its thing and just watch and see what it decides to do. And that's what I'm going to be doing for most of these pairs. Because it looks like it's just going to be one of those Mondays. Some Mondays, like last Monday, a lot of volume, prices at the right place at the right time. And the other Mondays, gotta let price go to the nearest zone and look for the best entry there. So that's what it looks like we have to do right now. So we're just going to watch this for a little bit because there ain't much going on the other charts. So we're just going to watch this. Put the thing right there. Then gold just retested this level. It just did that too. Could have got a sell in right there. Could have been up like 300 pips. It just did that too. Oh well, we're gonna just let it do its thing. Missed that opportunity, but it's all good. Let me see what silver's up to. Yeah. Indices are pushing down. Let me see what oil's up to. I think it's dropped. And you can see how this is a strong resistance level here. So I want to see if it's going to respect this as a resistance level again. And then we could possibly look for a scalp on this. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to keep an eye on oil. Missed the gold opportunity, which is unfortunate, but it does happen. Okay, you're going to miss some opportunities. That's just part of the game. Your AUD is still pumping. Yeah, so we missed that one too, which is fine. GBP New Zealand. New 5 minutes, pushing back up. So before I even post this, let me put this disclaimer out. Before I even post this. So broke above it, hit this wall, came back down. So now we see price pushing back up to reattempt. Well, now we see price shooting up, I should say. So I want to see if price can hit those levels that we have talked about. So my entry 9920. All right, so it's about to hit that level again. So I want to see if we can break past this level and really come to this orange line. So we see a repeat of this candlestick so far. I want to see if price can, and yeah, price is doing it. So that's a good sign. So I want to see if price can break through this level. So we're just going to keep an eye on this. So if you just hopped in, make sure to hit that first link in the description, join the free Telegram. This is how we did last week. On the free Telegram, Monday we caught 61,300 pips. Tuesday we caught 10,550 pips. Wednesday we caught 59,179 pips. Thursday we caught 8,489 pips. And then Friday caught a crazy 101,534 pips. Caught a few of those trades live. Well, every morning we called some trades live, but Friday we called most of those trades live, except the NDC calls. Waited for the red folder news to end, the enter buys, and those things just exploded. As you can see, this was a 1 to 5 risk to reward. That means if I put $50 in, 50 times 5, or that's how the risk to reward works. So it basically made 5 times what we risked. Then also we did the same through SPX. Caught a crazy 2,000 plus. We caught I think it was like 10,000 pips, 8,000 pips, something like that. But this one was a 1 to 3 risk to reward. It exploded up. Then same thing happened with NAS. Didn't enter that one. Couldn't enter that one. And then the same thing happened with GBPJPY. So it was a huge pump in the markets last week. So I'm going to see what this week looks like. So far, price is doing its thing. As you can see, it's still respecting that level, struggling to break it. So I want to see if we can push through it. So we're just going to let it do its thing. So far, it's doing what I want to see it do. But again, keep in mind it is Monday. And like I post every morning before we enter any trades, every trade is not guaranteed to go all the way to final TPO in our favor because we don't control the charts, we don't control the markets. That's why it's very important to have a set of rules you follow when you enter any trades. A strategy, of course, too, but you have to have certain rules you have to follow when you enter any trade because we don't control the markets. That's why it's so important to go with the trend and direction price is going and the trade when there's the most volume in the markets, which is usually London and New York session. So we got 1 minute till the next 15-minute candlestick. First target point did get hit. And like I say, also in here, when the TP gets hit, it'll either reject or break through. So right now it's just kind of rejecting that level, but it has hit that level multiple times. And we do have to keep in mind that this wick is higher than the previous wick just by a few pips. So I want to see this close above this level, and I want to see the next 15-minute candlestick break through this level here. So we're going to see if price can do so. So yeah, next 15 is doing that so far. And we're about to hit the second TP. We're about 7 pips away, now about 6 pips, but the first TP did get hit. So let's see if the second TP can get hit. But everybody that entered this trade, y'all should be blue right now. So go ahead and make sure to hit that like button because y'all should be blue right now. So we're going to see if it can push and continue to break through that level. USD still pumping up. Yeah, so we're just going to let this do its thing. Just going to let this do its thing. I'll take a sip of water. About 4 or 5 pips away from the next TP. Let's see if we can hit it. It's rejecting this wall right here. This wall price right here where these candlesticks are. That's what we see rejecting. So that's why I put the TP a little bit further than that because I want to see price. I want to see price touch this line, honestly. Hey, appreciate that, David. It is early into London session, though. Your opinion about XAUUSD? Yeah, I'll go over that in a second. I just want to see if this will hit TP2 real quick. Because it's floating at TP1 right now. I want to see if we hit TP2. While it's doing this thing, we can go over gold. So missed the gold entry. I wanted to sell here, but I was looking at the currency pairs and missed the entry. So I think it's dropping. I can see gold come down to 1637. It's crazy because we went over this play in the Zoom call, in the Zoom meeting with the members yesterday. But I wanted to enter here. I was waiting for the retest, but it happened while I was looking at another chart, and the thing dropped. So if it can stay underneath this level price where it's at currently, if it can stay underneath 1641, 1640, it can come down to 1637. Now, whether it keeps on dropping after that, well, before it hits 1637, it has to break past 1639. But if we can do that, then we can see price potentially hit 1637. Now, if it continues to drop from there, that's a different story. But we do see how it's a strong support level and a strong resistance level. So that was my original target. But I do see gold dropping some more potentially, at least for right now. But me personally, I'm staying out of it because I missed my entry. So, but I do see gold dropping. So on this TV2, we're like 2 pips. So I'm gonna see if we can go back to it. That's the only trade I'm in currently. But yeah, that's what I think about gold. But leaving that alone, as you can see, it's reacting to this level right here, which is normal. We see a strong level of price right here. We literally see price multiple times. Even right here do it. We see the rejection wicks here. We see the rejection wicks keeping price above this level, pushing it back up. We also see price do the same thing here. Bounce back up. Then we also see price do the same thing here. And now we see price do the same thing. So price can continue to break underneath here. So price can break underneath here. We can see price continue to potentially come down to 1637. But it's just doing this thing, reacting to the levels of price, which is normal. That's what price does. That's what GBP New Zealand is currently doing. Hit that wall, rejected that level. Just like when price was hitting this wall right here, it was rejecting that level. Just like when price hit the daily zone here, it was rejecting that level. So that's what price does. That's why you want to trade with the direction and trend price is going, because these levels are going to get hit. They are going to get rejected. But when volume is pumping and you're going in the direction of price is going, then you have a higher chance of price breaking through those levels and catching pips. Again, a good example of that is GBPAUD. It's going a smaller time frame. We went for buys like twice last week. And then before it even hit all the TPs, it really was struggling to break past TP1 and TP2, which is this line right here. You can clearly see, let me zoom in. You can see how many times, no problem. I'm glad it made sense. You can see multiple times how it looks. Price every time it hit here, rejected. But then when price finally broke through, it treated it as a support level. And then eventually, after another retest, exploded up. And then later on Friday, after treating this level as a support level, when it was treating it as a resistance level for multiple days, we see it happen here as well. We see it happening here as well. And we see it happening here. So eventually broke through. Now, sometimes it might take a couple of days to do so, especially with the bigger zones. You will not really see price go zone to zone on Mondays. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but most Mondays it might go to the middle of the zone, things like that, because again, Mondays there's the least amount of volume in the markets, which is why price is rejecting harshly to this level here. But that's also why with the things I always say, TP will get hit, the rejected breakthrough, and every TP is guaranteed to get hit. So that's why it's very important to, when TP gets hit, you move as on profit or just close, or especially if you're not confident that price is going to continue to push up, because retracements do happen. Another good example of retracement happening before the big move was EUR/JPY on Friday. Hit all the TPs, and we call this trade live also. I think it was this one. Went in for a quick scalp, wanted to hit price here, wanted to see price hit here, and then depending on how price reacted, see hit the daily zone. As you can see, it went farther than that. It actually broke to the next level. Speaking of which, we see EUR/JPY dropped and now it's pushing back up top of this 4-hour level of price. But on live, I had this level marked off. It hit this level. You can check it out as last Friday's live stream, the most recent live stream before this. Price hit this level, marked this level off. So you see price hit this wall. It rejected down. And I told people, I was like, if you didn't hold it, if you're still in the trade, you didn't get wicked out or close, don't freak out because the trade's still valid until SL gets hit. Then, as you can see, as the price hit this level, it rejected, came back to our entry, struggled to break that level. And then later on, closer to New York session, we see price just exploded. So again, that doesn't happen all the time, which is why I stress to secure your profits, because it's better to secure your profits and then potentially look for a re-entry than be up, X amount of pips and then watch your screen go from blue to $0 to red. And then now you're just crossing your fingers, hoping price will come back up or down, depending if you're going to buy or sell. And, price doesn't do that all the time. So that's why it's very important just to secure the profits on your screen. Price is still respecting this level here, which is a good sign. So I want to see what the next 5 minute looks like and the next 15 minutes to see if we can break this level. But the first TP did get hit multiple times. Missed TP2 by literally 2 pips. So I want to see if we can break this level and ultimately come up to here. So I want to see if we can do that. Did a bigger stop loss than I usually normally would, mainly because, again, it's Monday. So volume is really not going to be super pumping with all the charts until New York session. But I did see a good opportunity here. And I do see price potentially coming up to here. So that's why I did decide to enter. Still waiting for my confirmations. As y'all saw, you saw price explode after it struggled for an hour to break this level. And you see price is still respecting this level that used to be treated as a resistance level, now being treated as support. So just going to see if price can continue to break these levels. And speaking of which, we see gold pushing down some more. Looks like it's going to try to break this wall here that we had marked off. Well, it actually did break the wall. This was the wall we had marked off right here. And price is just continuing to drop. So yeah, this would have been a nice trade, but we literally missed. It was a candlestick too late. Literally missed his entry, but it's all good. But I do see it continue to drop down. Now, depending what it looks like when it hits 1639.40, depending on how it reacts to this level, then it could potentially keep dropping down to 1637. So I do see that happening. But we do see, I have to acknowledge there's a strong wall here. But it looks like it's still trying to push down. So there's that. Currency pairs are still ranging. I want to see this gap get filled up. Now, we don't really have any high impact news this morning. We got some later on during the week. But as for today, pretty clean looking charts. 6 o'clock, we do have the orange folder. We do have CPI for the euro. And that's about it. Australia, don't worry about that. That's 11:30 p.m. I don't trade during that time, so I'm not really concerned about that. Then for 20 a.m. tomorrow, we have the AUD. The governor Lowe speaks. Then 10 a.m. for USD, we have the ICM manufacturing, the JOLTS job opening. Then Wednesday, we have 8:15 a.m. USD ADP non-farm employment change. Then we also have the FOMC statement, federal funds rate, press conference. So it's going to be interesting. So again, we're going to really need these. Well, we're going to need to watch and see how these affect the markets. Like I went over with the members in last night's Zoom call. I'm going to explain why I say that in a second. So then Thursday through 30 a.m. we have CHF CPI. Then 8 a.m. we have the GBP. Then 8:30 a.m. we have another GBP. Then 10 a.m. another red folder for USD. And then Friday just have USD and Canada 8:30. So really depending on how those red folders affect the markets, we could see the uptrend continuing, and we see price break these levels and continue to push up, or we can see price reject back down after it hits this level. So really going to have to see how price responds to the news that comes out and things like that, because again, we did have this huge push up last week. That's why I'm also going to be extra careful with entering and holding trades for the long term, because price is going to have to retrace at some point. We're going to have to see a red candle at some point. Okay, you got to treat the daily candlesticks and the daily charts just like the smaller time frames. We see like 6 green candlesticks. We're going to have to see a red one eventually. We see a red one today. So what I mean by that is, price is going to have to retrace at some point. So that's why we're just going to let price do its thing for a little bit. Yeah, so that thing's rejecting hard. So not too concerned yet though, because we do have these levels of price right here that's going to really have to break through if it wants to continue to drop down. But missed TP2 by literally 2 pips. So I'm going to see if we can come back up. But again, that's just an example right there of what I said price is going to reject or break through. So price is currently struggling to break through that wall. So we're going to see if we can do it later on closer to New York. But that's also why I'm waiting for other trades to trade and enter closer to New York, because I can already tell the way the charts are looking. It's not going to be many possible plays happening beforehand. So Euro New Zealand is right at our entry from Friday, which is interesting. I'm going to take a closer look at this and see what it's doing. So it's respecting this level. We entered off this level. Call this trade on Friday's live stream as well. And it's right back at this level that we entered on. Looks kind of very similar. The retest here looks very similar to the retest we see right here. So I'm just going to see what it's doing. Looks like it's trying to push back down a little bit. So we're going to let this do its thing. And then, yeah, I don't really see much anything else to enter. So we're just going to be watching the charts for the most part, monitoring that trade, and then just looking at the other pairs. So going into New York, I would like to see, I would like to enter JPY pairs, but of course, going to wait for them to go to the levels of price I want to see them go to. Same thing with the indices. So far as respecting this level is pushing back up, which is a good sign. I do see price coming up to this gap at least. Now, whether it'll continue to push up from there is another story, but I do see price going to that gap. So let me look at some other charts. Yeah, so I'm going to keep an eye on that because I want to catch the move on when price hits that gap, because even looking at USDX, it's currently at 1628, 1629, where this gap's at 3653, and that's a huge amount of pips for that. This one doesn't really have a gap. Instead of a gap, it just has a huge candlestick dropping down, but you can see the candlesticks look very similar to the other currency pairs, especially the pairs that have gaps. Like SPX is the only one that doesn't have a gap, but you can see the candle structure all looks very similar. So definitely going to keep that in mind. Then where GBPJPY is at 13,287, and then where the gap's at 13,379. So that's a huge amount of pips as well that we could potentially catch on those two pairs. NAS, you can catch a good amount of pips too. This looks like it's at a good position for a scalp. I still don't want to enter yet. Still want to just watch the charts, but I do see price looking like it's trying to head there now. So I'm going to keep an eye on it before I enter that. It says that's pushing up. Let me see what gold's up to. Yeah, so gold's pushing back up after this level. Interesting. Oil's pushing up as well. Let me go back to GN, see what that's up to. Yeah, GN is dropping. GN's dropping right now. See what your AD's up to. So your AD hit a couple of TPs and tracing back down. Yeah, so I'm going to be waiting until closer to New York to enter anything else. Don't let this one ride out though. Because I'm not really concerned about it dropping right now. Because again, we have those levels that's going to have to break through. But it did miss TP2 by like 2 pips. They rejected, as we can see here. So we're gonna let it do its thing. I want to see how it reacts when it hits this lower price here. I want to see if it'll come back up. So it's gonna let it do its thing. Not too concerned about that. See what these are up to. Yeah, I like how these are looking. So I'm gonna keep an eye on these two. Then let's take a closer look and see what GJ is up to. So it's currently still respecting this level as a support level. But again, as we can see, it's really just been ranging, hasn't been doing much since London session started. Now, granted, we are just 30 minutes in, but compared to last Monday's London session, a lot more action was going on. So again, this looks like it's going to be one of those London sessions where these aren't really going to start happening until pre-New York, which is like about 2 hours before New York. I could see things maybe around 5 a.m., between 5 a.m., 6 a.m., things starting to get moving. I don't know what just popped up on my screen. There we go. So we got a new 5 minutes starting in about, well, new 5 minutes just started. So I'm trying to see if the price is trying to head there right now. It looks like it is trying to head there right now. So underneath this slide wall right here. So on top of this wall though. Yeah, that thing's pushing up. Yeah, I just said I wasn't going to enter anything else until closer to New York. But if it continues to push up, then I know where it's most likely going to go. Yeah, so oil's still respecting this as a support level. Came down for a little bit when we were looking at that last candlestick, but the next candlestick after that pushed up. Then the candlestick after that, just a huge explosion to the upside. Then we see these things still pushing up. Yeah, so it looks like it's about to try to head to those gaps right now. That's what this is looking like. So let me see something real quick. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, so GM rejected that level hard. So we're going to let it do its thing and see if it'll come back up. So while we're doing that, Let's see if there's any other potential setups. I'm looking at US30. I can't see a potential scalp setup. I'm just gonna wait and see what the next candlestick looks like before I even mess with it or even consider that, because I can see potential scalp setups for US30, USDX, and then ESDX, GBPJPY, and NAS. They all look like they're trying to head towards this gap, but there's a slight wall that is going to have to, that I want to see price break above and stay above before doing so, which is, we see this wall right here. So I want to see how price reacts to this wall right here. And then for US30, it's going to be it's currently at this wall, so I can say this wall right here. So the wall on top of this wall right here, this wall is at 32. We say 32,820, 32,830. And then for NAS, the wall I'm looking at is at, we say 11,500. And then the wall for GBPJPY, I'm looking at, say like right here. We say right here at like 13,294, 13,295. Same thing for SPX, but I'm just gonna leave that alone. I like this one a little bit better. I'm gonna see if price can come back above this level here at 36, 25, 36, 26, and then we'll go from there. I'm just gonna pay attention to that, see how price reacts to that level. So it goes up to new 5 minute just started. Price pushing up. Let's go back to GN. Yeah, so that thing just rejected that level hard. So that happens. Not too concerned about that. That's why you want to properly risk all trades. Make sure you're putting the same percentage for each trade. But just start to the week. Not too concerned about that. Missed TP 2 by 2 pips. Hit TP1. Wanted to see it go further, but again, it's Monday. So we'll take a look at that later on. But for now, we're looking at some other pairs to see any other potential setups. If not for London session, going into New York. So see a lot of rejections happening. We see oil came down and rejected that level. We see GN rejecting that level. This one we were looking at something else too. Not Euro New Zealand. We was looking at that. I think there was another pair that was rejecting. This one's still struggling. So we've seen price reject this low. It's coming back up. Now it's getting treated as resistance. Trying to push back up though. So we're going to see if later in New York it can do so. Pushed up. So let's see. These charts up too. See price still trying to push up. See US30 broke above that level. NAS broke above it too. So we got a new 15 happening and popping up in 3 minutes. So we're going to see what that looks like. And then we're going to go from there. So let me go ahead and mark off these prices so I don't miss any other setups. Got that. Do this. So far, we see price broke above it. We see price retested. The smaller candlestick retested, stayed above that level. And then we see price pushing up currently. So let's see what the next candlestick looks like. But price can stay above here. Same thing like the GN. Could potentially see price push up. Only concern is the same concern that I spoke about before even entering that trade, is that it's Monday, London session. It looked like a good setup. It did end up going our way for a little bit, but then when it hit that next wall, as you can see, it really rejected that level hard, which again goes to the disclaimer I was talking about. Not even that, that's just how price literally works. Like we see this, for example, every time price hit these lines, we see what happened. Price rejected, then it came back up to retest, then broke through this level of price rejected multiple times. Even when it broke through, rejected again, then exploded through. Then we see when price hit this level, it rejected, then continue to push through. So that's what price does. That's why you want to trade when there's volume in the markets. Again, it's Monday, so it wasn't that much volume to start off in the markets, which is probably most likely why price failed to break those levels. But that's literally what price does. We can look at some other pairs too. EUR/JPY, same thing. When price hit this level, rejected, then it came back up and broke through. When price hit this level, rejected, retested this blue line that it was rejecting as a resistance level, turned that resistance to a support level. Then when it retested, we see price exploded, it broke through this level. And when price hit this level, it rejected, came back to this level, rejected this level again, then broke through it. So, when it hits these levels, price is going to reject. Same thing with sales. We go to gold. See literally how price reject this level multiple times. Then we go into the gold sell that we took. We can see price literally bob up and down off of these levels. Then when it hit this level, it shot all the way back up. Then when it hit this level, it shot down, then retraced. So that's all price does. That's why it's important to try to trade with the direction price is going and volume. But even then, sometimes when it hits a certain level, reject and fail to break it, just like GA. We caught GA buys last week. Did the same thing here. Really struggled to break these levels until it eventually did so. So that's just how trading is, how trading works. So a new candlestick just popped up. So let's see what it's looking like for these. So it's above it for now. Closed above it on the last candlestick. Looks like it's dropping back down though. See, I'm just watching these for now. I haven't entered these. I want to see if we can stay above here though. So let's see what else is going on. Euro CAD hit this level and rejected. Was this level we called sales for? No, it was this level we called sales for. So it's currently underneath this 4-hour level and looks like it's continuing to drop down. Could have entered right here. So that's dropping. Let's see what the other Canadian pairs are doing. I don't like how that one's looking. Let's see. So that's the only one that's actually at a decent looking position. Yeah, so it looks like a lot of these pairs are dropping down. This one's dropping down too. Your JPY is dropping down some more too. Yeah, so we see a lot of pairs dropping this morning. This is dropping down too. Let's see what gold's dropping back down. There's what gold's dropping back down. So I might break this level with this go around. So going into New York, again, I'm really looking for buys. Gonna be waiting to see if price is gonna retrace a little bit more because we see on these other pairs price is dropping down and retracing, but I am gonna be looking for buys. Once the price fill this gap up today, I want to see that happen today. Now, obviously, it might not happen today, but for the most part, usually gaps get filled up either that day or the next day. So I'm going to be waiting to see if price is going to come up to this gap, and then I'm going to be looking for a potential buy scalp to this gap. So we're watching that, waiting for price to make its move there. So that's what I'm going to be looking for the indices. Now, currency pairs, I'm going to be scanning them to see what they're doing, but for now, it looks like everything's just retracing. I don't really like where anything's at currently. That's all I'm gonna be looking for. Mr. Gold sell setup. So just gonna be watching that. I'm gonna be paying attention to oil, see what it decides to do. But for the most part, I'm gonna be looking at the indices for potential setups, and then we're gonna go from there. So yeah, it's just chilling at this level right here. Let's go back on the 5 minute, see what's going on. So we got about a minute till the next 5 minute comes out. But as we see, it's just been chilling at this level. It's just started moving right now. So I want to see what it's going to do. Because we do have this level of price right here. So I want to see how it reacts when it hits this level of price. We can say like right here. So I'm gonna mark this off as well, just to keep a look at that. So I want to see if it's going to come to this level of price. Whichever it does is completely fine. So I want to see what comes to this level of price and see how it reacts when it hits this level. Ideally, I would like to see it come to this golden line at this 4-hour level and then potentially look for a buy there. But we can see it right here. We bolden this line up. How this was a resistance level and then turned to a support level. And then we currently see price doing very much similar to what price was doing here. So I'm going to be looking to see what price is doing. So we've been letting it do its thing for the most part. But if I do see a potential move shooting up, depending what those candlesticks look like, still going to be looking for the confirmations. But I do want to see that gap get filled today. So I am going to be watching these closely so we don't miss that move for when price decides to go for that gap. And it's currently respecting this level so far. New 5 minute just started. So far it's respecting this level. This one's underneath that zone still though. But for everything else, it's above that level. Yes, I'm just going to be paying attention to these. Yeah, so I'm going to wait for price to either come back up or come back down to around 146.70 for your GBPJPY and then see how it reacts to that level of support resistance. See if it will continue to respect that support level. If it can continue to respect that support level, then we might look for some buy setups there. But for now, it's in the middle of the zone for one, and it's been consistent dropping going on. So it's going to let this do its thing and see what it's really trying to do. Looks like New Zealand's pushing back up. Yeah, so it's pushing back up. So let's see if we can break back above that level. Was another okay, so going back to what I was saying. So past couple of weeks, which if y'all don't, I suggest doing so. Like, you need to have a trading plan, obviously, but you need to record or take mental notes, but it's better to write things down of all the trades you take. That way you can start noticing either certain mistakes you're making, things you're doing right, things you're doing wrong, this, that, and the third. But one thing I have been noticing is for a few pairs, especially the past couple of weeks, during the London session, obviously price will do a retracement before New York, but sometimes, depending on the pairs, they will retrace a little bit farther than I want, and they go into New York session, then it will do the move that I saw or wanted to see it do. So that is one thing I have been noticing as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case with GN. Still looking at these pairs. Let me go on the 15 and see what the 15 is looking like. So that's a nice rejection wick. So I do like how that rejection wick's looking. It's a nice rejection wick. Now it's got one going on as well. Sure, don't really got one. The NAS US30 do. SPX does as well. Yes, that's a nice rejection wicks. So let me see what the next 5 minute looks like. Do like how that's looking. So those that just jumped in, I am looking at the indices, looking at potential scalp setups. I do like how price is looking. But before I enter, I want to make sure that price, it looks like it's trying to do so right now. I want to make sure that price will go that way before I enter, or continue to like really pump that way before I enter. And so far, it looks like it's trying to do so. So let me go to my other thing. US30. We'll be on Black Bull. So this is the trade idea I'm looking at right here. Haven't entered it yet. It's a nice little scalp, about a 1 or 2 risk reward. I want to see this gap get filled up. So that's what I'll be aiming for. Price did a nice rejection off this level and it's pushing up as we speak. We can see on the 5 minute, the new 5 minute appears above this level on the 5 minute time frame. So I can see price try to make that move right now. I wouldn't be surprised if price does so. Looks like price is trying to. But we got 4 minutes till the next 15. So I want to, if possible, wait for the next 15-minute candlestick. But price already looks like it's trying to do its thing. And then, US30 and the indices, these small pushes are still a couple thousand pips, especially US30. But we do have this level of price right here that is hidden. So I want to see, well, we have that level of price, but we also have this level. But it did break above that level. Then we have this wall right here. So I do like how this is looking. So I might get these trade ideas set up. Again, this is just a quick scalp. I haven't entered these yet. I'm just watching them. But I do like how they're looking. NAS is really pushing. So is SPX. Short days underneath this wall right here. Did you do a nice push off? Nice rejection wick. So I'm gonna get these ready. Remember that if I'm quiet, I'm typing some stuff up right now. Yes, we got about 40 seconds to the next 15. Let's see what that looks like. Just getting these trade ideas set up and ready, because I do like how these are looking right here. Good tight stop loss. The 15 just started. And we see GN pushing back up. So I want to see this candlestick if it can break above this level, but it came right back to the zone. So let's see if it can break back above that level. We see the new 15, US30 rejecting this level. I want to see it stay above this level. So they doing that's not an issue. That's completely fine, honestly. But I want to see if it can stay above that level. So that's what we're going to be looking for. So that just gives me more time to type these trade ideas up if we do decide to take them. And we can see gold still respecting this level here that we had marked off at the beginning of the stream. Looks like it's about to try to break it right now. So yeah, still haven't entered these. Do like how they're looking though. So just gonna keep an eye on them. So it could start the move. Again, it's 4 a.m. So we got about 2 hours till pre-New York. So it could start this move pre-New York, or it could start it at the beginning of New York. But I do want to see this gap filled. So I am gonna be looking for a buy going towards that gap. So I'm just gonna let price do its thing for now. And then we're gonna go from there. Euro cash tracing up some too. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep watching this, and then I'll adjust my trade idea if it draws past this level. But I'm gonna stay above this level, and then come back up to here and try to break through that. Then I might go for this scalp. But for now, just gonna be watching this and adjusting. And this is why you want to wait for multiple candlestick confirmations, because if we would just jumped on there off that rejection wick, look what would happen. Immediately would be in drawdown. So that's why you want to look for multiple confirmations. But again, looks like I'm not going to be entering these until a little bit closer to New York. So it's going to keep an eye on these still. And then go from there. Let's see what oil's up to. So oil's retracing back down to this level 2. So I want to see if oil can respect that level. And if it can, then we'll go from there. I want to look for a scalp setup for oil though. Caught a nice buy on Wednesday. Caught a sell 2 Fridays ago. I think we caught like another sell too. I think it was on another chart. Oh yeah, we caught this sell on Tuesday. So I'm going to be scalping this again. So I want to see just which way I'm going to be scalping. That's just the question. If it comes up to this level, we could look for a potential scalp here. Could see a potential scalp setup here for a sell. This is a strong support resistance level here. As we can see how prices are reacting to it. See the rejection wicks here. See how price laid here. And see how price is currently rejecting this level on this current candlestick. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this, seeing what it decides to do. But these are rejecting some more. So yeah, I'm just going to let these do their thing. And I'm going to see what New York session, what setups we can find during New York session. Just going to go through these charts one more time. GBPJPY, still doing that. So your AED literally went back to that spot again. It looks like it's about to repeat what it just did beginning of London session. Euro CAD looks like it's about to try to drop down some more. GJ, GN looks like it's about to break back above. So we're about to see a potential round 2 for GN if it can break back above this daily level. Again, we missed TP2 by like 2 pips. So we're going to see if we can have that happen during New York. But other than that, every other pair, I don't really like where they're at, so I'm just going to let them do their thing for now. Well, ADJPY is on the 4-hour support resistance level. We can see it's on top of this resistance level right here. What we saw it was until I zoomed in. Yeah, just gonna let us do this thing for now. And US30 retracing is actually good for us. No problem. That's gonna give us more pips to catch on this buy setup. But we do see this strong resistance level right here. And then we do see when price hit those levels, it was these wicks right here. So if I just put a line right here, you can see these rejection wicks here, and the price broke above it, then broke above that level. Then we see price came down, rejected off that level, pushing back up. And now we see price currently hitting that level. So I want to see how price reacts to that level. Let me change this color to orange. So I want to see how price reacts to that level. Again, just going to be watching these pairs. And I'm going to be looking for buys. Just going to be waiting for the next setup for buy. Because like I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, just going to recap everything. There is a huge imbalance that we are climbing up. And we had a green candle after green candle after green candle all last week. So retracement is bound to happen. We have this huge imbalance here. Then we clearly see this level of traffic here. And we see that this is a strong support resistance level here. And we can currently see price reacting to that support resistance level. So we could see price reject back down to 32,300, 32,320-ish. Depending on if it depends how it reacts to this level here at 32,460. But if it continues to push down, we could see price come to here, then potentially look for a new buy setup there. Or if price can break above and stay above the level we were just looking at, then we could see price hit the top of the zone and continue to fill up that imbalance. But it is a huge imbalance on the daily time frame as well as the 4-hour that you can see on the 4-hour time frame. Last 3 candlesticks have been red. You can see the last 2 4 hours, price hasn't really done much, but you can see that price is currently retracing as we speak. Okay, what payment option are available for Playbook? What payment options are available for Playbook? So I take card. I believe PayPal as well. Don't quote me on that. I have to double check, but like regular credit cards, debit cards, stuff like that. So if you click the link, it'll show you all the different ways, or you can hit me up on Instagram, as you see at the bottom of the screen. As you see at the bottom of the screen, playmaker_way. You can DM me on there if you're having any issues with the payment options. But it should show you when you hit the link and you go to purchase whatever package, either the monthly, lifetime, yearly membership, or the one-on-one sessions, whatever the case may be. It should show you all your payment options. But if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Instagram at playmaker_way. And yeah, price just broke below that level. So it looks like price is going to head towards 1637. The USD is just dropping right now. So that's no problem. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. We're just going to be watching these charts this morning and seeing some potential setups for New York session. Oil's breaking back underneath this lower price again. So oil's really just ranging right now as well. Hit this wall and then reject it harshly down. Yeah, so yeah, price is just playing around right now. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing until it decides to show me what way it wants to go for the day. All right, make sure to like that like button. We did just hit 200 subs, so because we just hit 200 subs, I'm going to drop a video today. Shout out to all y'all that hit that subscribe button. Shout out to all the subscribers. So I'm going to drop a video today. It's not going to be a trade breakdown video. We're going to be on the charts, but it's not really going to be a trade breakdown video, but it's going to be a video that I believe is going to help y'all out. So I am going to drop that video. Make sure to hit that like button though. And those that haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to join the free Telegram. Don't just drop trade ideas there, but also drop videos that can help you out, as well as I notify y'all when I do drop some YouTube videos as well. So be on the lookout for that. New 5 minute just started. Yeah, so price doing this thing. Yeah, so we're gonna let GN marinate, and we're just gonna be watching these indices to see if we can catch another buy setup today. But if not, just gonna leave it alone or possibly look for a scalp setup, because that's just reality trading. Every day is gonna be a little bit different. Like just looking at the daily time frame, we can see. So it all depends. This is why I'm gonna leave it at this, and I'm gonna see y'all in tomorrow's live stream. But it all comes down to this. We see a clear downtrend here. Then we see when the price hit this level. We already know that it hasn't hit this level in a very long time. We can see this is a strong resistance level. Strong resistance can become a strong support. But as you can see here, it was a nice drop down. But when it hit this level, it struggled to make a new low. Reattempted multiple times, and then after it finally rejected that level, the uptrend began. After it broke this level, prices exploded up. So it literally depends on the time, if there's red folder news going on, the trend, and the key levels. Depends on what type of week or day you'll get on any pair. So we're very fortunate to last week catch a huge wave up and clear buy setups, but every day and every week's not going to be like that. Like this week, those last 2 weeks when indices were very choppy, rarely called any trades on that because I wanted to see if the downtrend was going to continue or the uptrend was going to begin. So then today, we see that clear wall right here. We're letting it retrace a little bit, see the huge imbalance here. Going to be looking for still a buy setup, but it's not going to be as crazy of a week like last week. So that's just the reality of trading. Every week's going to be a little bit different. But the only thing that doesn't change is you still patiently wait for those setups and trade off these levels. But every week's going to be a little bit different. So this week, this month, those past months here, we had nice clear sells. Then those 2 weeks where price was struggling to make a new low, wasn't able to catch as many pips. You just see these rejection wicks here. But then you see price here just exploded last week. You know what I'm saying? So you see it different, how different weeks did different things, which is why it's important to go on the daily time frame so you can really see what's going on. So price, huge candlestick dropping down on the indices. Same thing with oil. Yeah, so price is just playing around right now. So yeah, just really staying out of that. GBPJPY pushing back up. So yeah, price is ranging right now. So I'm going to be seeing what New York session brings. You don't have IG. So if you don't have IG, you can hit me up on Telegram as well. So click that first link in the description. You can hit me up on Telegram. All you got to do is once you join the free Telegram, click this right here where it says Playbook Free Plays. And then you can hit me up on Telegram right here. And then just message me on there. And then we can go from there. And I'll help you out so we can figure out what's going on. You're talking about Coinbase. Yeah, so I'll help you out with that. So just hit me up on there on Telegram. And then we'll discuss that from there, and then I'll help you out to make sure that things go smoothly. All right, so members, in a couple hours, I'm gonna drop the New York session price watch list and chart analysis for y'all. And yeah, we're just gonna go from there because there ain't much going on right now. So gonna send that analysis out for the members in a couple hours, and then we're gonna go from there. Let's have another great week and see what the markets offer us. But again, with the indices, as far as seeing if the trend's going to continue, probably going to have to wait till volume picks up, obviously. But again, we have the red folder news going on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Nothing going on today, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we do have some red folder news for the USD. So we're going to see how that affects the markets and then go from there. All right, no problem.